Vladimir Putin has been in leadership in Russia for such a long time that it is easy to forget his predecessor, the first president of Russia after the collapse of the Soviet Union, Boris Yeltsin. One interesting fact about Boris Yeltsin is that most Russians never saw him sober. Yeltsin was always drunk, and his drunkenness was responsible for his numerous embarrassing stunts, which include walking outside at night naked during a foreign visit to the United States. During a state visit to the United States in 1994, the Secret Service found Yeltsin drunk and naked with underpants only in the streets of Washington one night. He got into a brief argument with the baffled security agents trying to restrain him. He told them he wanted to go out and buy pizza. It is not clear how the president left the tightly guarded Blair House on Penn Avenue where he was staying, significantly exposing himself to harm. This was not first time Yeltsin appeared in public drunk and naked. A few months before he became the president of Russia, he wandered into a police station drunk and wearing his underpants only. It was later revealed that he had been at his mistress's house. He left the house drunk and naked, lost his way home, and ended up at a police post outside Moscow. Yeltsin was no respecter of protocols and would say anything that came to his mind or pull the most awkward stunts in the presence of cameras or dignitaries. These stunts range from jokingly pinching his female secretaries behind in public to grabbing microphones from musicians and singing off key during events. Drunk Boris Yeltsin often ignored the niceties of diplomacy to pull the most unthinkable stunts, even in the presence of fellow heads of states. During a state visit to Germany, Chancellor Helmut Kohl hosted him for a luncheon where dignitaries were entertained by a military band. Yeltsin grabbed a baton from the band conductor and started conducting the band himself, to the bemusement of everyone present. Drunk Boris Yeltsin once used the bald head of the then president of Kyrgyzstan, Askar Akayev, as a drum, hitting it with spoons during a state dinner. The most popular incident happened in Ireland in 1994. Yeltsin made a short notice to the Irish Prime Minister that he would stop over on his way back to Russia from the US. The Irish Prime Minister had to cut short his visit to Australia to go back home for a meeting with Yeltsin. A strong Irish delegation arrived at the airport more than 10 minutes before Yeltsin landed, but they were later surprised to see his plane circling above the airport without landing for almost an hour. After it landed, Yeltsin did not come out, leaving the Irish delegation exasperated. Instead, his deputy was sent to meet the Irish Premier, as Yeltsin was too sick to get out of the plane. Later it was revealed that the Russian president could barely walk due to his drunken state. He eventually flew away without meeting his Irish counterpart. Towards the end of his presidency, his alcoholism worsened and his behavior became more erratic. For example, he would hire and fire ministers on a daily basis and made decisions that whittled his approval ratings to 2%. Yeltsin resigned on the last day of the 20th century, December 31st, 1999, and on January 1st, 2000, the only minister he never fired. Vladimir Putin succeeded him as the president of Russia